We are back and live and broadcasting on all networks.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. Through you, Mayor Nuttall, to our guests, I just wanted to ask some questions regarding the circulating of the I want to call them slides, but of course they're the screens. So one of the slides, let me just refer to them as that, would be an emergency message. And the other 8 or the other 7 would be advertising, correct?
Sorry, the microphones are off. So if you could put the microphones on, that would be great.
I did.
There we go.
Sorry, through you, Mayor Nuttall, to Councillor. That is correct. One rotation would be for the Ministry of Transportation for either safety use, etc., i.e. an Amber Alert. The other 7 would be proposed to be sold. And as I said, at Innisfil, local businesses are actually the ones taking those. If you pass them right now, it's local business that's buying them.
Okay, so and how long is that one screen live before it transitions to another screen?
8 seconds.
8 seconds. Okay, so if I'm driving down the 400 and there's an emergency situation, I would not probably know that unless I was in a traffic jam, because there is like 8 seconds per slide. So 7 times 8 is 56. 56. So that's a minute that before you see an emergency messaging, correct?
Thank you for your question through Mayor Nuttall to Councillor. The province has the ability to override and take all 8 slides in a major catastrophic element or where we need to have more than one rotation.
But that wouldn't be an Amber Alert, correct?
That would be up to the ministry to make that decision.
Okay, and the size of the sign, okay, that was probably the best of the questions I'll say. I'll see what other members of council discuss. Thank you.
Any other questions from members of council for the deputies? Councillor Congo.
Thank you for the presentation. When I was looking at the background correspondence for those that had signed on, I think it perhaps was Carolyn Rooney's letter as she had signed it, did identify commentary tied to, I believe that it was a pilot, and that should you see any adverse events or impacts, please notify immediately. And so I didn't know, should it not be supported tonight, potentially, then is there an opt-in time frame where we might be watching to see what happens over the coming amount of time, and if there are any changes or corrections to those municipalities that have signed in? So is it an all or nothing from a timeline around this opportunity?
Through Mayor Nuttall to Council, thank you for your question. I would tell you at this point, we've seen no adverse commentary to those that have been live since late December. Nothing at all over the 3-month period. And at this point, this is proposals in front of Barrie to be approved now. It's private investment and it's to be approved now. So it wouldn't be something we'd be looking to opt back into.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Morales.
Very quick, Mayor Nuttall, thank you. Ms. Seedmarch, thanks for the presentation. I really appreciate your confidence and your conveying of the information. Would this sign possibly, the erection of the sign, would it possibly interfere with any expansion of EV charging stations at this on-route location? I know that they've become more prevalent in other locations on on-routes, and if you Googled anything to do with Barrie charging stations, I've been a huge advocate of them since like 2016. So I was wondering that, and I know a lot of that is up to the province and not so much you, but I'm wondering if the location of this would, from a land perspective, affect any increase in EV stations.
Through Mayor Nuttall to the councillor, thank you for your question and being a proponent of EV. This would not prohibit expanding electric vehicle charging for Barrie en route by any means. It's at a 46-meter easement, and we wouldn't put electrical vehicle charging at that position on the property.
Perfect, that makes sense. And while you're here, because I've never known who to say it to, yourself and your team, you guys do an excellent job in running these on-roads since you have taken over the last couple of years. Not just the Barrie ones, but extremely well done.
Through the mayor, thank you so much for that comment. I'll pass it to the team.
Thank you. Councillor Harris.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Noddle. Through you, maybe to Ms. Merchant. I mean, one thing we have heard that we are the exception to this so far. Beyond being the one that hasn't been approved, what other differences have you noticed as you go through the 400 series highways where these have been located? I mean, I appreciated when you, in our correspondence, you pointed out to Cambridge, but I couldn't quite see the connection, correlation, the similarities between the Barrie location and the Cambridge location. Is that by far the best comparable? I've gone through the list and all the ones, and most of them in rural areas with no off ramps, no on ramps in their vicinity, not even close. So, what are the other differences between this one and the other ones that are on the list that are improved?
Through Mayor Nettle to Councillor Harris, thank you for your question. I think the Cambridges are similar from both volume and traffic traveled on the highway, which is why I use them as a comparator. I would also compare Port Hope and Newcastle with on-ramps both before and after them, as well as Woodstock and Ingersoll. All are formidable top 5 plazas for us and very similar to the Barrie location. King City and Innisfil as well have on-ramps before and on-ramps after. So they're very comparable to the Barrie location. I would say the main difference here is that Barrie is largely surrounded by commercial buildings and retail buildings. And these others that I've talked about have residential very close, and there hasn't been an issue. I'd like to impress upon this council that the importance of this project is that it pilots a province-wide sign network. That's not been done before. And what we don't want is for our highways to become like I-75. Dotted with digital billboards throughout them. This is why we've put this project forward with ministry support to create a province-wide network and test and learn from it. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, thank you. We're probably splitting hairs here, but I would suggest in looking at the series of en routes that the distances between the on and off ramps in Barrie, and maybe you can corroborate if you want, Barries are by far the closest to the en route. Is that fair to say?
Hi, through Mayor Nuttall to Councillor Harris. I wouldn't say by far. So I think I did the measurements. We're talking about 2.2 kilometers versus 1.2 kilometers in Barrie. So we're not talking about a massive difference. I mean, obviously Barrie is a little bit more commercial and built up, but actually there's a lot more examples of digital billboard signs in closer proximity to larger commercial areas than there are in rural areas. So a lot of the reason for the 5-year monitoring of traffic is that this is the first program that's really putting these in more rural locations. There's plenty of examples, GTAA, Metrolinx, Drive on the 407. It's very common to have digital billboards in a situation similar to Barrie. So I would say that Barrie is actually, there's more history to a location like Barrie and the impacts on traffic than there would be on some of the more rural locations.
Just maybe one follow-up question through Mayor Little. Is it, I understand the evidence on billboards causing crashes is inconclusive, but am I correct in having done the work that the moving images are starting to be recognized as factors in automobile crashes?
Thank you for the question. Through Mayor Nuttall to Councillor Harris. We're not looking at any moving copy. So that's not something within the scope of this proposal. One would presume, yes, it probably is more distracting. But again, that it doesn't apply to this situation.
Would that include changeable messaging?
Through Mayor Nuttall to Councillor Harris. Changeable messaging is static. So it stays static. It's got a maximum transition time to ensure that there's no visual effects happening. There's none of that crazy fade in, fade out that would be visually distracting. So this is one image, switch immediately to a different image. So that's considered static imaging. And I haven't seen any documentation that increases there's been any increase in.
Thank you.
My costs.
So,
Mayor Nuttall, if I might be able to expand through Mayor Nuttall to Councillor Harris, that was a largely scrutinized and heated debated point with Ministry of Transportation, as you could appreciate. They have in fact pre-selected the location of each sign on each of the en route properties on their land. So it has gone through their scrutiny, their specialists to answer the question that you just posed, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hamilton.
Thank you. And through you, Mayor Nuttall, perhaps my question is for staff. I did read the report. And my understanding really of the report is the fact that because this request is not a minor variance, if you look at our bylaw, it's quite an exceptional variance in terms of how the standards within the bylaw. And so the clerk did not have the authority to approve this because it's not a minor variance. I didn't really gain any big concerns other than it doesn't fit the bill for our current bylaw because our current bylaw was really not developed with having a sign alongside the 400 in mind. So I just wonder, what is the big concern here? I appreciate Mayor Nuttall's question in terms of what does the city get? It would be nice if there was some sort of benefit for us, but I think we have to think beyond our city. Really, this is a provincial initiative. And I actually am supportive of the initiative. I think it's quite a unique initiative and I would be supportive of it, but I do understand it falls outside the normal boundaries of our current bylaw. But I'm not really seeing why we would be pushing back significantly other than this doesn't fit our bylaw. So we can't make accommodations where perhaps an accommodation should be given. And I understand it's within the boundaries of municipality, there are houses over a kilometer away. I understand the signs illumination can be dimmed as well. So question to city staff is, what is our big concern here? Is it granting exceptions and we're concerned with opening up a can of worms, or are we concerned residents could be opposed to this sign? What are we fighting against?
Who on staff would like to take that one? Mr. Calpine.
Mayor Nuttall, thank you. And through you to Councillor Hamilton. The size of the signs is something that is quite beyond what we have seen for something like this. The fact that it's in an urban community versus the rural communities, notwithstanding the information provided by the deputants. And frankly, it sets a precedent. Once you provide an exemption for one, others will utilize that as a rationale for an exemption in the future. As per the staff report, alternatives were included should General Committee see the value in the sign. And those are options that General Committee and Council could exercise. But it's not in keeping with the sign bylaw and would establish a precedent.
Okay, interested to hear how others feel about that. For me, I'm not concerned with the president. That's
Sorry,
setting a
keep this
precedent.
at this point to questions only,
Yeah.
and we're not debating the matter until we get to that portion of the meeting.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councillor Harvey.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Nuttall. And thank you for your presentation. I struggle with the response that Councillor Harris got, so I'm going to ask it again, maybe in a little bit different way. Because I've actually gone through the entire Google Maps, checking each of your locations right across the entire province on the 400 series highways. And I cannot find anything that I would say is even remotely close to being comparable to the urban center that our en route is situated in. I know you tried drawing a reference to Innisfil. Innisfil's in the middle, got farm fields and all that around it. I look at the Cambridge location that you're drawing an inference to. It's almost 4 kilometers away from the city of Cambridge. I'm not seeing the correlations here. So how does us being in an urban center correlate to any of these other examples that you're providing? Because I'm just not getting the response that you're providing.
Through Mayor Nuttall to Councillor Harvey, thank you for your question. I can't foresee urban sprawl, but what I can tell you is that Barrie today is not Barrie of 10 years ago, and Cambridge today is not Cambridge of 3 years ago. What COVID did is it brought people outside of the city centers of Toronto. And I can tell you, being someone who lives in Puss Lynch Township, looks a whole lot different than it did 3 years ago. I suspect 5 years from now, Cambridge North will look like Barrie. The most important thing to leave you with is the safety of these signs have been scrutinized through numerous people on both cabinet and Ministry of Transportation. And I can assure you that based on the static imaging, the 8 rotations and the seconds in dwell time, that these are safe, they are safe signs. And that's what we're looking to pilot.
So just a follow up to that. So I gather you would agree with me then that our urban center as it sits right now is unique and not the same as any other en route location in the province, because that's what I'm seeing. And that's actually what I just heard from your answer.
Well, through Mayor Nuttall to Councillor Harvey, I would say each en route location is unique. King City is very similar to the City of Barrie. It has Wonderland, it has Vaughan Mills Mall around it. They're very similar, sir. So I would say perhaps Cambridge North, to answer your question, is maybe not the best example, but thinking on my feet, it was one that I grabbed being my local community. I would probably point you closer to a King City. But what I would like to say is that the power of this pilot is being a province-wide pilot with signs in all the locations. That's the important to advertisers. That's the important to the ministry. And that's the importance to travelers. Being a province-wide project.
So I'm going to ask one more question, but I'm just going to start off with, I disagree that the King City location has Wonderland and stuff close to it because it's several kilometers away. And the King City en route again
I'm gonna ask you.
surrounded by. So I'll move into my question. My next question would be, what, if any, traffic studies have been done? Because the issue that we have, especially during the summer months, is traffic gets bottlenecked, typically on Fridays, unless it's a long weekend, somewhere between Innisfil Beach and Essa Road. And typically it's somewhere in that Mapleview to Essa. It's already bottlenecked prior to having this extra distraction potentially there. So what type of traffic studies, if any traffic study, has been done to see what impact this additional sign could have on the flow of traffic through the city of Barrie?
Through Mayor Nuttall to Councillor Harvey. For this specific location, obviously, as Melanie has mentioned, the Ministry of Transportation has vetted each of these locations, the sign locations on the property, to ensure that they are safe locations. They wouldn't be approving these through a ministerial order if they were concerned that they were an issue with traffic safety. Obviously, for the Ministry of Transportation, that is top priority. There have been studies done, and to my knowledge, there's been no increase in incidents of accidents in and around where digital billboards have been installed. Also, as per the ministerial order, there is a 5-year study of traffic once the signs are installed. So they'll be monitoring for any uptick in collisions, any complaints, anything that could potentially be attributed to the sign. And there are contingencies for modifying the sign, or even worst case scenario, relocating the sign if an issue is, found to be there. So you can take assurance in that.
I can add. Through Mayor Nuttall to Councillor Harvey, I can assure you I'm well aware of how busy Barrie gets. It is a top 5 location for us in the summer. And I would tell you that if there were things that were bottlenecking traffic and or road hazards ahead, that the signs would actually be a benefit to your constituents and travelers, because the ministry would be able to put that on the sign. So for that reason, I would say that actually it won't increase traffic, but probably help maneuver traffic to cottage country. Thank you for your question.
I have no further questions.
Are there any other questions from members of council? Seeing none, thank you so much for your deputations and for answering all of those questions, because there were quite a number. And we will be moving on into number 11, the committee reports. Deputy Mayor Thompson, I believe you have the motions.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Harris, that Section A of the first general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be received.
Forgot to put my mic on there. It's moved by Deputy Mayor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Harris, to section A of the first general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be received. 24G066, confidential labor relations matter, BPFFA negotiations. Any questions or comments with regards to the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? It carries. Deputy Mayor.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Harris, that section B of the first general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be adopted.
It's moved by Deputy Mayor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Harris, to section B of the first general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be adopted. 24G067, the 2024 BPFFA contract negotiations. Are there any questions or comments with regards to this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? It carries. Deputy Mayor Thompson.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Harris, that section A of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be received.
It's moved by Deputy Mayor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Harris, that section A of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be received. This is 24G068, report of the Finance and Responsible Governance Committee dated March 20th, 2024. Are there any questions or comments from members of council? Seeing none, all those in favor? It carries. Deputy Mayor.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Harris, that section B of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be adopted.
It's moved by Deputy Mayor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Harris, the section B of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be adopted. Amendment 24G069, Amendment International Relations Committee 2022 to 2026, terms of reference. 24G070, Correspondence International Sister Cities. 24G071, Harrogate Business Improvement District International Work Exchange Grant. 24G072, the 2023 Investment Management Annual Report. 24G073, Memorandum from Circulation List dated February 21st, 2024, concerning the key performance indicators for Council's 2022 to 2026 strategic plan. 24G074, Memorandum of Understanding, Provincial Trench Rescue Team. 24G075, City Initiated Zoning Bylaw Amendment Application, 50 Worsley Street. 24G076, 2024 Downtown Barrie Business Association Levy. 24G077, 2024's tax ratios. 24G078, request for exemption from sign by law. 2018029 for 201 Fairview Road, Ward 8. Are there any questions or comments with regards to section B of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024? Deputy Mayor Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. I have a deferred motion. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Kungle, that section B of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024 be amended and separate the motion 23G078 concerning the request for the exemption from the sign bylaw 2018-029 201 Fairview Road, Ward 8, and reintroduce it in section H, sorry.
It's moved by Deputy Mayor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Kungle, the section B of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024 be amended to separate motion 24G078 concerning the request for exemption from sign bylaw 2018-029-0 for 201 Fairview Road, Ward 8, and reintroduce it as section H. Are there any questions or comments with regards to the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor? It carries. On the main motion as amended, are there any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? It carries. Deputy Mayor Thompson.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Harris, that section C of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be received.
It's moved by Deputy Mayor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Harris, that section C of the second general committee report dated April the 10th, 2024, now circulated, be received. 24G079, presentation from the Waste Management and Environmental Sustainability Department regarding waste collection changes. Are there any questions or comments with regards to the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, it carries. Deputy Mayor.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Harris, that section D of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be received.
It's moved by Deputy Mayor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Harris, that section D of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be received. 24G080. Temporary use bylaw to permit agriculture, 15 Harvey Road, Barrie Bryan Developments Limited, Ward 7. Are there any questions or comments with regards to this motion? Councillor Kung.
Just a comment, because it is being received for point of clarity, it's not a motion. Is that correct? Because it was defeated at general committee?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? And it carries. Deputy Mayor.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Harris, that section E of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be adopted.
It's moved by Deputy Mayor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Harris, to section E of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be adopted. This is the city initiated zoning bylaw amendment application for 48 Dean Avenue. The separate report was requested by Councillor Morales. Are any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? And it carries. Deputy Mayor Thompson.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Harris, that section F of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be adopted.
It's moved by Deputy Mayor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Harris, to section F of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be adopted. This is 24G082, the city initiated zoning bylaw for 29 and 35 Sperling Drive. Are there any questions or comments with regards to this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? It carries. Deputy Mayor Thompson.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Harris, that section G of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be adopted.
It's moved by Deputy Mayor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Harris, to section G of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, now circulated, be adopted. This is 24G083, the pedestrian crossing analysis for Mapleton Avenue and for Hearst Drive. Are there any questions or comments from members of council? Seeing none, all those in favor? It carries. Deputy Mayor Thompson.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Kungle, that section H of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, concerning the request for an exemption for the sign bylaw 2018-029-21 Fairview Road be deferred to the next council meeting scheduled to be held May 1st, 2024. And I can speak to that.
It's moved by Deputy Mayor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Kungle, to section H of the second general committee report dated April 10th, 2024, concerning a request for exemption from sign bylaw 2018-029 for 201 Fairview Road be deferred to the next council meeting scheduled to be held for May the 1st of 2024. Deputy Mayor Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. So I think we've had a lengthy conversation in regards to the sign and understanding both sides that it's, you know, provincial initiative. It's good for small business, advertising and all that stuff. So I just wanted to be able to give maybe Mayor Nuttall an opportunity to reach out to the province and see if there's a made in Barrie solution, being that we are very an anomaly with it being a little bit of an urban center, and then just in 2 weeks' time making a decision final at that point.
Any other questions or comments from members of council? Councillor Harris.
Yeah, maybe quickly, I will support this, and I think the agreements have been set, and I think one thing that was clear here, and although I'm not sure it was, I appreciate Councillor Harvey's questions. The Barrie location is different, and I know that there was comments about it not being different, and then there was 5 years from now it will be the same as Cambridge. So I'm hopeful that what can be recognized in this conversation that Barrie is different, and that should this sign that's inside of this boundary, quite frankly, right in the middle of the city, that there may be consideration that we are different. So with that difference noted and respected, hopefully we can see something different in Barrie. So thank you.
Any other questions or comments from members of council? Councillor Rietma.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to support this deferral and we're going to put it on your shoulders, Mr. Mayor, to get a made in Barrie solution. But I do want to point out, I'm not very supportive of this application. And the reason for that is that this, we have a staff report that says, suggests no. And this sign is twice as high and 3 times as large as what is currently permitted in the city. And it will determine the character of the city when our visitors and people drive through it. And so I'm reluctant, but I'm going to support this amendment so that you, Mr. Mayor, can get a made in Barrie solution.
Thank you, Councillor Rietma. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Corson.
Yes, no pressure. I would like to echo Councillor Rietma's comments because we must remember that when people are driving into the center of our city, they will be presented with a great big, I hate to use the term, but I'm gonna spam board. And I'm not very favorable to this, especially with the some of the answers that we received from the questions we asked this evening. So I'm really looking forward to having more fulsome discussion about this. Thanks.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none. The only thing I'll say is I'm surprised other municipalities haven't asked to be part of a solution. I find that interesting. The other thing that kind of scared me at the end of the questions earlier was the idea that when there's traffic jams on the 400, that this sign could help divert traffic. I would invite the folks to come door knocking with us on Harvey Road, Ardagh, Essa, Mapleview, Ferndale, yeah, Lakeshore downtown, Dunlop Street, Blake Street. We, as a city, I laughed when Councillor Harvey earlier said, you know, it's Friday nights, except on a long weekend. You know, when I was a kid, it was Saturday mornings, and then it became Friday nights. Now it's Friday mornings or Thursday nights, and our city gets plugged up, and it is. I hope those folks are stopping at our grocery stores, our bakeries, our restaurants, our all of those things, and contributing to our local economy, because what I know is they're contributing to the usage of gas by our residents right now, or electricity if they have electric vehicles, because it takes forever to get around our city at that point. And the idea that we would then have a sign that's going to divert people through the city, I don't think would be helpful to us. In terms of the provincial priorities, look, the province has their priorities. They have made this one clearly through having ministerial orders signed. They're gaining from it through profit sharing. They are advertising on it every, I don't know, whatever the time is, 50 seconds. I don't think that it's a lot to ask to be part of the solution if we decide that it fits our community. So I will have those conversations. We're going to be, the CAO and I are going to be at Big City Mayors tomorrow and Friday. I believe the Minister of Transportation is going to be there, and also the Premier is going to be there. So we'll see how those quick conversations go, and maybe they'll go nowhere and we'll come back and make the decision, or maybe we'll be actually able to get something that that helps define us as a city as people are going through. So I'll leave my comments there and call the vote. All those in favor? It carries. Is that, we're complete the committee reports, correct? Yeah. We're now going to go past deferred businesses. There's none, into direct motions. And that is Councillor Harris.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. I have a direct motion moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Thompson. It's a sister city relationship with Saginaw, Michigan. And it reads, whereas Council Motion 23G 221 adopted by City Council October 25th, 2023 regarding an investigation, economic trade partnership opportunities provided direction to staff in the Economic Creative Development Department to investigate the feasibility of a potential economic trade partnership with the state of Saginaw, state of Michigan. And whereas council is desirous of entertaining or entering into a sister relationship with Saginaw, Michigan, therefore be it resolved as follows: that the mayor or designate and council member of the International Relations Committee be authorized to execute the relevant documents and any future amending documents establishing a sister city relationship with Saginaw, Michigan under the following terms and conditions. A, the agreement reflects the activities that support the approved economic mandate of the International Relations Committee, and B, the agreement be for a term to be established for a period of not more than 4 years for the purpose of reviewing the relationship after a 4-year period with optional renewal to measure success based on the economic objectives of the International Relations Committee, and that an official delegation with elected officials, members of the International Relations Committee, and staff be authorized to travel to Saginaw, Michigan in late May to formalize the sister agreement with travel expenses to be funded from the International Relations Committee budget in an amount not to exceed $5,000. And I have an amendment. Oh, sorry. I'll go.
Almost got another quarrel there. It's moved by Councillor Harris and seconded by Deputy Mayor Thompson with regards to the city's sister relationship with Saginaw, Michigan. Whereas Council Motion 23G 221 adopted of City Council on October 25th, 2023 regarding an investigation for economic trade partnership opportunities, provide direction to staff in the Economic and Creative Development Department to investigate the feasibility of a potential economic and trade relationship or partnership with the state of Michigan. And whereas Council is desirous of entering into a sister city relationship with Saginaw, Michigan, therefore be it resolved as follows: that the mayor or designate and council member chair of the International Relations Committee be authorized to execute the relevant documents and any future amending documents establishing a sister city relationship with Saginaw, Michigan under the following terms and conditions. A, the agreement reflects the activities that support the approved economic mandate of the International Relations Committee, and B, that the agreement for a term to be established for a period of not more than 4 years for the purpose of reviewing the relationship after a 4-year period with optional renewal to measure success based on the economic objectives of the International Relations Committee. And then an official delegation with elected officials, members of the International Relations Committee, and staff be authorized to travel to Saginaw, Michigan in late May 2024 to formalize the sister city agreement with the travel expenses to be funded from the International Relations Committee budget in the amount not to exceed $5,000. Are there any questions or comments with regards to the direct motion by Councillor Harris?
I have an amendment.
An amendment.
Yeah.
Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. Again, moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Thompson, that in regard to the city relationship with Saginaw, Michigan, that the direct motion concerning the relationship with Saginaw, Michigan be amended by deleting paragraph B and replacing it with the following. B, that the relationship be reviewed after a 4-year period to measure success based on the economic objectives of the International Relations Committee, and I can speak to that.
Oh, see you again. Probably because you signed with your own hand. Sister city relationship with Saginaw, Michigan. The direct motion concerning the sister relationship with Saginaw, Michigan be amended by deleting paragraph B and replacing with the following. That the relationship be reviewed after a 4-year period to measure success based upon the economic objectives of the International Relations Committee. Councillor Harris, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. And maybe just before I begin, I'd like to take a quick second to recognize the team from West Barrie, Ms. Schlichter and Ms. Gulvar, for all the work they've put into this effort. And also yourself, Mayor Nuttall, you kind of helped seed the interest in the economic portion of the International Relations Committee effort. And here we are today with a number of items on our agenda that were related to economic objectives and measures for International Relations Committee efforts. And this relationship with Saginaw, Michigan came around quite quickly, and we're very excited to add the first North American international relations twin city to our complement twin cities. Timing's everything, and Saginaw Mayor Brenda Moore she's a person of action, and she wanted to get this done, and there's an opportunity to get this signed, and there's been a lot of conversation and good work, and I want to thank the IRC members who were a part of this effort as well, and Deputy Mayor Thompson is part of that committee as well. It's a chance to really start a new relationship with the International Relations Committee, Twin City, that is born on a different focus, born economic development focus. So we're excited about this and looking forward to the next steps with this effort. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Any other questions or comments from a members committee on the amendment to the main motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? It carries on the main motion itself. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? It carries. We're now at inquiries. Deputy Mayor Thompson, do you have an inquiry?
I have.
Councillor Hamilton? Oh, I thought you were jumping ahead to inquiries. That's why. Any other inquiries? Seeing none, we'll move on to announcements. Any announcements? Councillor Kungle.
A couple of announcements. One, as it's National Volunteer Week, I just want to take a moment because we highlighted volunteers quite a lot through COVID and how residents stepped up for each other and to support a lot of agencies. But I did want to just identify that there's a very strong number of residents across the city that support all of our committees and advisory groups, and their participation is important, and that engagement is helps us to kind of do better, I think, around our ability to represent a more diverse, inclusive community. So to all those that have applied, and whether or not you've made it around the table, keep applying, keep staying engaged, and for those that give your time selflessly, thank you very much. My other comment or announcement is really just specific to Ward 3. In particular, I've had some questions as we're coming into the spring season. Members of council might recall that there was a footbridge in Callaway Court in Ward 3 that we did end up funding a repair. So I was pleased to hear from staff today, and thank you to Dave and the team. Supplies have been acquired. My understanding is that we are just getting ready to schedule that repair, and it is on the books for this spring. So I'll share more as we have formal timelines. But for residents who've been waiting for some time for that footbridge around your access pathway around that stormwater retention pond, that is going forward and should have a more specific update for you shortly.
Thank you, Councillor Kungle. And Councillor Corser, I believe you have an announcement as well.
Yes, it's more of a save the date, but also to get involved. Third annual Flora's Walk in support of Canadian Perinatal Mental Health Collaborative, a nonprofit organization working to remove the stigma, fear of judgment, isolation, and lack of resources that contribute to many parents suffering with their mental health while pregnant or caring for a new baby. I encourage all to join the walk on May 1st, and you can sign up for sponsorship at the cpmhc.ca website, or I'll be posting that on my socials as well. And you can sign up to collect donations and sponsorships to go on the walk, or just to join on on May 1st. To join us all for World Maternal Mental Health at Meridian Place, downtown Barrie at 11:30 a.m.
Thank you, Councillor Corser. Are there any other announcements from members of council? Seeing none. April 14th to 20th is National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. A huge congratulations goes to Barrie Fire and Emergency Services highly skilled communications teams that receives calls on behalf of 20 municipalities dispatching the necessary crews for emergency response. So thank you to all who are involved on the Barrie Fire side. I would also like to acknowledge Barrie Police Services team members Sherry Heenan, Jamie Morrison, Melissa Nadeau, Carly Horn, Taylor Bolam, I'm going to mess some of these names up and I apologize. Kelly Van Schubert, Sarah Bullied, Chantel Jerry, Dana Forrest, Sharon Taylor, Haley Richardson, Michaela Matthews, Sarah Kenwright, and Sarah Windsor, who have been recognized with the 2023 Simcoe County Public Safety Communications Team Award. In late 2023, this team coordinated the response to a delicate and potentially dangerous situation involving a person in distress, working with multiple agencies, including groups outside of the traditional emergency services. This team's professionalism and dedication over a 24-hour period helped ensure the successful and safe resolution of the incident. So congratulations, and again, thank you to the folks, not only at Barrie Fire, but also over at Barrie Police Services in the communications teams. Those are incredibly important jobs, and I can't imagine how stressful they can become. The City of Barrie will be entering into its second year participating in City Nature Challenge, which takes place between April 26th to April 29th, 2024. For more information, please visit barrie.ca/community recreation environment community events 2024 City Nature Challenge Barrie. It's a very long one. I would recommend just searching the website. Invest Barrie, in collaboration with Barrie Construction Association, are hosting a construction industry job fair on May the 2nd at Allendale Recreation Center from 5:30 to 7:30. That's again for the Barrie Construction Association. And for more information, please visit barrie.ca. Spring into clean. This is going to be one of those inquiry announcements because I don't want to get the information wrong. It's this weekend, as I understand. 19th to the 22nd. Councillor Kungle, it sounds like I should ask you the question. But you need to put your mic on. Yeah.
Sure. If you registered for Spring Into Clean, thank you. I think registrations were due around April 11th. I believe starting, if I'm correct, around April 19th, you should have formal dates if you're a school group or a business or a community. So looking forward to seeing everybody out there in community with your yellow bag supplied by the city and coordinating that. So thanks to all that are participating. I know there's lots of interest. So you might see lots of garbage for pickup, but help where you can. But between, I think, the 19th to 21st or so, that's when groups will be active.
Wonderful, thank you. And schools will be, I believe it's the 19th and 22nd, the schools will be involved. And then on the Saturdays and Sundays, it'll be volunteers in the community at large. If we didn't, they can go to our website and find it there as well. Next week's meeting is going to be on Tuesday instead of Wednesday. And with that, we have the kickoff between Toronto FC and the Simcoe County Rovers on the Wednesday night. This is a pretty historic thing for, I would say, the City of Barrie and all Simcoe County, where we have one of our local teams playing on the national stage and playing against a completely professional team. I will hope to find out this week what the when the starting lineups are released, what the total income of the players on one side of the team of the field are versus the total income of the players on the other side of the team, because I think it'll be a monstrous difference. But it's a really unique opportunity for the City of Barrie and also for Simcoe County as a whole to be put on a national stage for sure, but potentially international stage as well. So I hope everybody is able to tune in, but our meetings will be taking place on Tuesday. I believe that there is a Finance Committee meeting at 6 p.m. Followed by our General Committee meeting at 7 p.m. On Tuesday the 23rd. Beautiful. Tuesday the 23rd. If you want more information about the Rovers game on the 24th, visit www.roversfc.ca and you can get all of the information there. Also, there's buses going down if anyone would like to go and support. There's buses going down, and I think that information's there as well. Bylaws. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Harris, that leave be granted to introduce the following bills, and these bills be read a first, second, and third time on this day and finally passed. Bill 32 to 44.
It's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Harris that leave be granted to introduce the following bills, and these bills be ready first, second, and third time this day and finally passed. Bills 032 through 044. Are there any questions or comments with regards to the bills on the agenda tonight? Seeing none, all those in favor? It carries. Deputy Mayor Thompson.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Harris. Leave be granted to introduce the following bill, and this bill be read a first, second, and third time on this day and finally passed. Bill 45, the confirmation bylaw.
It's moved by Deputy Mayor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Harris, that leave be granted to introduce the following bill, and this bill be ready first, second, and third time this day and finally passed. Bill 045. Any questions or comments with regards to the bill? Seeing none, all those in favor? And there's none. That carries. Could I get a motion to adjourn, please? Councillor Hamilton and Councillor Harvey. All those in favor? It's approved at